is the Elevated Look Show, hosted by Mark STAMPFLY.
Arielle Harris, thank you for being on the show today. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
I'm excited to kind of hear about your journey through the entertainment industry. I mean, the Elevated Look podcast kind of focuses on all aspects of the entertainment industry and also kind of a little bit on the marketing side of whether it's your personal branding or even, business branding, because I know you started a business.
Yes.
Which is super exciting. I want to hear more about that. But just tell me a little bit about you and kind of like how you started on this journey.
Absolutely, thank you. I've always been in the entertainment sphere. My dad was a business manager in LA, so I've always been around.
Entertainment business manager?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was around a lot of musicians and kind of actors, film directors, producers growing up.
Okay.
But he was also a musician himself.
Okay.
So being involved in theater was something that I was definitely thrown into from the get-go.
Like forced into, kind of? Not forced, but like kind of pushed?
Yeah, it was actually, my brother was in it first, and I was like, wait, that seems fun.
Yeah.
So then I interned as like a 9-year-old intern at a theater company, and I said, no, I want to actually perform. So I started performing, and before I performed at Yada, which is on 3rd Street. It's actually like a really well-known kids theater group.
Oh, really
Love
cool.
them. They're amazing.
Okay.
So I started doing that growing up and stayed with it, and then got very serious about singing, and then so that's where all the music stuff started.
Okay.
And then as I got older and actually started.
Now, how was it like? Because obviously your family, your dad's like a entertainment business manager. What was it? Was there something about the life or like things you were seeing that kind of drew you in? Like, what was it?
Yeah.
Because there's still kind of things like they're like, oh wow, like I just saw that performance, or I just saw that movie, win the Academy Award, or just like certain things.
I think it was just, it always seemed fun.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like, working a boring job was never something that appealed to me, and some people really like the structure.
What is a boring job?
Well, I mean, I don't want to like shit on anyone's job, but
like a typical 9-to-5 kind
like
of thing?
no,
or?
and I don't even mind the 9-to-5.
Okay.
It's just doing stuff that's very mundane or that doesn't have an impact on something bigger. So I always thought that entertainment was a really great way to make an impact on a mass level, and really
it's a great
affect
platform.
Yeah, exactly, and affect popular culture and do it's just fun, like being around the music space. I don't know if you've been to a live show, there's something about knowing that you're like one of the behind the scenes people that you're like, I did that. Like that's really cool. There's just something about it. It's I don't know, it's just really amazing. It's a high.
So when you were growing up, was there something like, because you're saying theater, music, like intern, like what was there something that was like that you wanted to do the most, or were you just trying all these different things out?
So for a while, I really wanted to be on Broadway, and then when
as an actress,
like a performer, because singing was my first and foremost biggest talent. And then, dancing was definitely not. I grew up playing soccer, and so.
Do you still sing?
To myself, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did it very seriously in high school, and then tried to continue in college, but actually fell into music industry courses. Okay. And that's where everything began. So that's just, and
so
I
what
loved
courses
it.
were these? What?
Yeah, so I went to USC for undergrad.
I saw that, yeah.
And grad school,
Go
which,
Trojans.
thank you, right on, which I'll get into in a bit, but.
But was that the place where you discovered the courses, or was
that?
Okay.
Yes. So I knew, going into USC, I was undecided, but I knew I wanted to be in entertainment. I just didn't know exactly how, but USC has a phenomenal music industry program. So I knew I wanted to at least minor in that and then figure everything else out. With time, I ended up discovering that I actually really love music for film and TV. So there's a role called music supervision, which is you get to decide the music that goes into projects, you get to work on the licensing, clearance, and kind of give especially smaller artists a platform to have their music heard and make some money. So that was amazing to me.
What was it? Yeah, like I get that. I see like you're kind of passionate about that.
No, it's fun.
But I'm trying to, because I'm more visual than like music or audio.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious, like, what is it about like that's, because that's very specific. Music supervision.
It makes the project.
Is it because like you're like the one who gets to decide?
Yeah,
like,
you're the one that gets to decide.
You're like basically the playlist of the movie.
Right. No, and you get to make the vibe of the movie. You get to make the sound that, you know, when people hear a song from it later on, they're like, oh, that's from that movie. And it just, you have the power to enhance a scene, or, you know, like when I was in undergrad, I was working on this project, and I asked a film student if he could send me some footage without the music in it, because I wanted to put music to it, and then and he had already put music to it. So this was for my own project. I said I just need footage, just for my music supervision course. So he's like, I'm really interested to hear what you end up doing. So I'm not gonna send it to you with audio. I'll send it to you with audio, you know. That way you're not influenced by
exactly. That's a good idea.
So the film itself was like a very, very short film, and it was, this kid was home with his sister, and they were practicing bow and arrow. And there was an apple on his sister's head, and he missed and shot her in the forehead. Right. No, it sounds very depressing. Right, exactly. And so he's like losing his mind, and he's like, oh my God, I need to tell my mom, blah, blah, blah. And so he's freaking out, and then he's like, okay, I have to, you know, shoot an arrow into the sky and hope it lands on me and kill myself. You know, it's just very depressing. Right. No, of course. However, so when I saw it, I was like, okay, I want to put some deep, dark, tormenting music behind it. Apparently that was too on the nose, because they put a comedic kind of playful, circusy sound. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so, you know, either way, it just depends on what the director wants to come out of it. If he wants it to be kind of like this is like dark and twisted, but a beautiful piece of artwork, then that's one way. If you want it to be really dark and serious, that's the way I went. So, but contrasting songs, and it worked. It really, and it totally changed the vibe. So it just depends on what you want.
And then do you, like for me, like I think back to like the first time like I did a short film and I showed it to people, and like the reaction.
Yeah.
Did you is it kind of the same thing with music? Are you showing it to like all your peers and kind of getting the vibe of like?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, at least for music supervision specifically, it's really up to the director, the way that they want it to go. So they already have an idea of what they want. We bring forward different options that they can partake, or they could say, I hate this, and find me other music. So it really, they already have a vibe in place. Now, if I'm the director and also choosing to be the music supervisor, then I'd say, you know, I'd ask colleagues and peers, you know, what vibe are you getting from this? What do you think would sound good here? But that's
Would you do that? Would you be a director and a music supervisor?
No, I am not a director by any means. Not for film, not for TV. No, if anything, I'm very much on the music side.
Did you still have to take other like kind of general film classes though when you were over at USC?
So I was so basically at USC, I minored in music industry. Okay, and then I also minored in cinematic arts because I had this passion for music industry. Music supervision, sorry. So my major ended up being gender studies, because I'm very passionate about social justice and equality, which ties into what, you know, kind of what I'm trying to do now as well. Yeah, but my senior year, I started interning at a music supervision company that was all female run, which is really cool, called Whirly Girl Music. And it was Frankie Pine's company, and I worked under Mandy Collier, who's now at Amazon Music, and we got to work on the show like Nashville, where we had literally artists come in from Nashville to create songs for the show. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. But I started getting, you know, my feet in the sand, and
you were an intern at that time.
Yeah, at that time, this was an internship, but I'd found out during that internship that USC was now going to launch the following year a master's program for the music industry department, which is brand new. They had never done it before.
Really?
Yes.
So
So I said, I had taken courses with the chair of the department when I was a freshman, and he was absolutely incredible. His name is Paul Young, and he really kind of was the one that opened up my eyes to how complex the music industry is. And after his class, I said, I love this.
What was it about, like, what was it that kind of changed your perspective?
I think it's just you realize that there's so much that goes into it that you wouldn't expect when you download Spotify and click play on a song. You're like, wow, I like this song, but you have no idea how that click really can affect an artist's algorithm, how audiences have the power to affect whether an artist gets discovered big time or not. And it's kind of scary to think about, and we've turned into this digital age where now, how an algorithm does or how, people react to a video or a song kind of
determines the future of that.
It's like a beautiful thing, but also really terrifying and kind of messed up. So it's a double-edged sword.
Just small tangent then, like what would you say then for, somebody who is launching on Spotify, is what's their best shot? Like should they be promoting constantly, like to get that thing when they first launch it and get it as many plays as possible?
Yeah, you want plays. If you're uploading a song for the first time, I have a client who hired me to do some PR for them, and it's their first single they're dropping. She is pretty big on one of the social media platforms, so I said, you need to be promoting this. Like this needs, but it can't just be on your biggest platform. It needs to be on all these other ones that you're involved in that you might not have the largest audience, but you may find people now. And you have to use every single platform. It's a pain in the ass, but you have to do it.
It's a lot of work.
Yes, you have to use social media. As an individual, I hate it, but as a marketing tool for my clients, you have to. Yeah. It's just, you have to.
I'm the same way. Like before, like I had a business and brands, like I never really was big into it, but now I kind of see the point to it, and I kind of see like the value you can give to people through it, and the importance of it. It is so important, and if you're kind of off that train, you're really missing out. I think a lot of people are.
I agree, and I think on the one hand, I think if you're gonna kind of be resistant to a social media platforms or just using social media, that's okay. But then at least make sure you're using certain ones that you feel cater to you.
Sure.
If you're not
at least do the ones you want to do, right?
Yeah, you just have to do something.
Yeah.
It's the new marketing. It's how it's where brands are putting their money. It's the modern day billboard. Humans are now billboards.
Yeah.
That's kind of their Instagram pages are their billboards.
I mean, I'm sure it's pretty similar to like in the in like the more like producing side of it. Like if I'm casting something and I'm looking at two actors and one has like no social media, basically maybe like 300 followers, and I see somebody else who has like 500,000.
Yeah.
That's going to impact my decision making pretty heavily because I know there's an audience already there.
Right, I know.
Even though the other person might be better. That's the thing too. They might be a better actor.
Well, that's the part that bothers me though, is because I think that there are a lot of people who, like a lot of record labels now, because they are shifting a lot to needing to give into the digital age. They don't need to provide the same type of A&R services and artist development that they had to, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, because now a lot of people can just do it from their bedroom. A lot of people are doing this from their bedroom. They're making themselves. So record labels, in my eyes now, I think are more massive marketing agencies than anything. I do think that some labels, though, still have honed into that OG A&R model. I think
it still works.
Yeah, like Mike Caron and APG.
They have a lot of money behind it too.
Oh yeah, I mean
that
they've
helps.
Yeah, absolutely, and there are some that do a really phenomenal job in that, but I think the industry as a whole has very much transformed to, we need to see a case study with your numbers to know why we need to invest in you. And unfortunately that comes from Instagram and socials and Spotify and Apple Music. But I do think though that there are a lot of talented people that just aren't getting certain traction, but should not be overlooked. I mean,
so that brings me to the question
Yeah.
then, like, then do you think it's more the rules of the game have changed and those people kind of need to now? Not that, you know, they're more talented, but if are maybe somebody else is hustling hard on YouTube and is hustling hard on TikTok and promoting, do they need to kind of do that now? Like, is that kind of just the new rules of the game and they have to kind of get into that? Or do you think there is a place for just like, I'm just gonna, you know, produce, you know, local music in my garage and kind of do this like more like organic, you know, grassroots?
I think it's a mixture of everything. I think it's more so at the end of it, you know, record labels do need to come back to the core of it and say, are these people actually talented? Can they actually make music?
Yeah.
You know, I really, as a manager, I don't really care if you went viral on TikTok. I don't care if you have 500,000 followers on Instagram. If your music, quite frankly, if it's trash, it's not worth it. It's just, because I don't think there's longevity there. I think artistry, the definition of artistry has kind of been skewed with all of these social platforms, and I'm kind of concerned for the next generation seeing, oh, like if I, you know, dance on TikTok and go viral, that means I can also get a record deal, because that's what we're seeing happen.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think that's the way it should be. I mean, look, if you are a dancer and a singer and you are genuinely talented, by all means, you know, awesome. If TikTok is a way to put yourself out there and get the, you know, recognition you should be, awesome. But I don't think that's the case for everybody. And I think that people that, you know, haven't earned their spot in at least the music side of it, that are getting these record deals now, you know, it's taking chances away from people that, you know, like, for example, clients of mine who have literally been in, you know, the nitty-gritty studio since they were 12, learning chords, writing for others, doing all this stuff and performing at, you know, massive stages, but just aren't getting recognized the same way.
So what would you tell those people though, that they do need to now like invest more time into TikTok and YouTube and social media and promoting themselves? Like, is that something you do? Or if somebody is like, you know what, I just don't like doing that, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, I know you don't like it, but you have to. You do. I mean, I do think that artists have to use the platforms, even if it's doesn't seem like it's working, you do, because it will, first of all, for the fans you do have, you need to maintain those.
Sure.
First and foremost.
Right?
And second of all, this is about you sharing your stuff. So every time you upload something, it is another thing on the internet that someone can find you through. So I do think you have to. If you really, really hate it, I would say pick your platforms and, you know, run with them. But you do have to. It's just the reality. You do have to.
Is there any platforms that you would like prioritize over other ones? Like,
yeah.
At least maybe because, you know, we haven't really gotten to your whole company, but like, do you tell like your people or even just friends or, you know, colleagues, like, hey, you know, if you're gonna do like 3, then do these 3. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it varies from person to person,
sure.
but
overall, that's very true.
As like a blank slate, I would say YouTube, Instagram, and right now TikTok, and Instagram and Facebook kind of go hand in hand. So I would say those 3 at this current moment in time. Does it change?
I agree with that.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It always changes.
What's the next one? You know.
I don't. I mean, you know, I've been having these discussions with people that have been like, hey, I want you to, you know, take a look at my beta testing for this new app I'm developing, and everyone is trying to make some version of
the next thing.
Right, and I don't know what's going to hit. And TikTok used to be Musical.ly, and Musical.ly, I mean, did it work? Yeah. Did it?
It was different. It changed though.
It did, and that's the thing.
Like Instagram too, because Instagram used to be for like photographers and photos.
Now it's
for everybody.
It's also very video heavy now. They're really trying to push video.
And Instagram Reels are really the big, you know, because I've learned social media a lot more over the last like couple years, and definitely the best organic reach I get is Instagram Reels. Yeah. I can put out a video.
They're pushing it. They're pushing it to compete with TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
a good place to be right now.
It is.
But you got to kind of adapt to the scene.
Right.
And think, what is the next thing?
Right.
So that is true. What about, I have it. I got it early too, but Clubhouse. Do you think that's a good place?
Clubhouse is great. I think Clubhouse is great. I think Clubhouse is an awesome platform to do kind of like rapid networking. I've seen it work phenomenally for people, and I'm kind of excited to see how it...
In the music industry specifically too, or?
Well, just because kind of my feed would look more like that.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, for music industry, for film, for students, just... I've even seen like people being like, how to socialize or how to date, and it's like, there are all sorts of things on Clubhouse. It's just there are different communities that no matter where you are in the world, you could just hop into different discussions, which I think is amazing, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was very big during
yeah. So I mean, I think I love Clubhouse. I think it is great. I think, in terms of having the element of where it could go with music, I've reached out to them and had, kind of a pitch of, hey, let's work together so that we can kind of maybe create some sort of online, not like a festival per se, but like an online almost showcase of all these artists. And, since it's audio, we can all just listen to audio. But, there is a visual element that people also like. So then it's like, okay, how do you work with that on Clubhouse?
Yeah, because they're kind of, that's the whole point, is it's not that. It's like more like a dinner party.
Yes, exactly. So I think, I hope to see that Clubhouse starts partnering with venues and, other platforms that are out there that can enhance, sharing talent.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I do think it's great, though. I just don't think I think it's great for networking. I don't think it's like
quite the place for like promoting yourself yet.
I do think you should promote yourself. I also think that a lot of it is also listening to other people. Yeah. And so you're promoting yourself and a lot of other people are hearing it, but it is time consuming for the individual because out of respect, you have to now listen to everybody else. That's,
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
It's the same way with social media, too. It's like you can't just make an account and not, like, follow other people and comment. It's a whole thing.
It's a crazy new world. Yeah.
Well, speaking of new worlds, what do you think, I wasn't even sure I was going to ask you this, but now it kind of popped in my head, is the NFT world. The NFT space is huge. Oh my God,
I was just talking to someone about this. Yeah.
I love crypto. I'm like a fan of the whole thing, and I'm kind of basically educated. I've followed a little bit of like the trends and kind of what's going on, and I like the whole idea of like the social contract and all this stuff, the tech behind it. But I know now a lot of like what was it, the Doja Cat or something had just done a piece, or like a lot of art, but there's other artists doing the same thing. And
artists, I think NFTs are great to allow artists to kind of really take control of something.
Hopefully it stays that way.
Right, of assets that they can monetize.
Yeah, I love that too.
Which is absolutely great. Now, in terms of how much people can monetize, I do think that, again, goes back to, well, how big are you? Because if you're Doja Cat, you're going to make a lot of money on an NFT. If you're a smaller artist, like let's say, hey, I'll give you a free preview of this song, or I'll give you this song.
I'll give you the single if you buy my album, like pre-release or
something along those lines. Yeah, but then what if that single had blown up next year and now you just gave it to someone for significantly lesser of a value because you're still a developing artist.
Yeah.
But then in a year from now you blow up and now that thing that you gave away for free could have been millions. Like I think
they have it also built in where like the resale, like you can
put a certain
make royalties.
Yeah,
which is very cool. I love that idea for art, for music especially.
Yeah, no, I think it's very smart. I think in terms of the initial monetization though, it's something where the bigger artists are still going to make the bigger money and the smaller artists are still going to have to rely on those like really diehard fans, if they have any yet, that would pay money for something. So, and something that's digital. It's also not something that's like live and interactive yet because we're in a pandemic. But, I think once things start opening up and you can kind of integrate live experiences with your NFT packages,
right?
I think it's going to be a game changer.
Whatever that next kind of upgrade of the NFT platform is.
Yes, and I'm actually working with someone who's created a platform to make NFTs available for artist fans and everything. And it's really cool. It's not released yet, but I'm hoping to
Okay.
get on board with that. Yeah.
Very cool.
The whole NFT and crypto space, I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Okay.
But yeah.
Are you invested in crypto too? Are you a part of
I'm not yet.
They're not?
I'm not.
Oh, you gotta get in.
I mean, in terms of getting my clients on board, yes.
Yeah.
Have I invested?
Yeah.
No. But that's
Okay.
just because I just haven't yet.
So you don't want to pay in Bitcoin?
No. Until I fully understand it, I'm
Sure,
just still
sure.
waiting to
Fair enough.
pay in Bitcoin. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no. But my mom is in it. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I know my family's in it.
It's interesting. It's still interesting because it's the fluctuations are.
Yeah.
You got to be smart about it.
Right.
Like I know some people they're throwing all their money into it. I'm just like it's
Yeah.
not really. If you're throwing like 5-10%, I get it.
Right.
But
No,
it's still a little bit of a dangerous game.
Yes, it is. It is, and I think until I educate myself more, then I'll.
I still
feel
think it's
better.
super undervalued though right now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Personally,
Yeah.
I still think it's super undervalued, but it is, it's still, there's always
Yes.
that risk with that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
kind of
absolutely,
thing. But,
absolutely.
But I like the idea of like a, decentralized financing
Yes.
system. I think that's fantastic.
No,
for
I do
everybody,
too,
so
and it blows my mind that like it's even a thing that's
yeah.
happening.
Hopefully it stays a
Yeah,
thing for at
right.
least a little bit.
Yeah,
before,
no, I mean that would be awesome.
Governments get involved and whatnot,
Right.
but
Right. Well, did you see? What was it? Is it Brazil or somewhere in South
Oh
America?
yeah.
They're-
It was what was it, the Dominican Republic? No.
I don't know.
But I know it was
yeah.
a country. It was
They're,
a country
like,
in South
using-
America. That's like their new
currency.
currency.
Yeah, I'm
which
like,
is a little crazy for.
right. I'm like, well, what does that mean
But-
now? Is it still decentral then? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
know,
I believe it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking all. I guess payments can be done through there, which is crazy.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's good. I heard there's more to it than that. Like it kind of affected their system maybe. And I don't
Right.
know. It's complex.
It
It's
is.
very
It's
complex,
a
and it's still.
changing-
I think it's still early.
Yeah.
Like I think it's that whole thing hasn't really been figured out.
Right.
So there's still like some growing pains with that
Yeah,
whole system.
I think for me the hardest part is understanding the different parts of the blockchain. Like I understand it. I just am still trying to learn what all these different names are of different companies that are part of the blockchain experience. And
Are you talking about like different, like almost like the brand names, like Bitcoin versus Ethereum? And
yes,
yeah.
yes, and just understanding kind of what, like,
Yeah.
what,
I
don't even know what to ask.
I think it like a lot of people describe it as like the big internet boom when like
Yeah.
there was like all these .coms popping
Right.
up and it was like everything was like going up in price, and some of those .coms are billions,
Right.
and some of them, but most of them are gone.
Right.
So I think that's the same
Yeah,
thing.
no,
Same
that's
thing
a
that's
great
going to
way to
happen
put
here.
it.
There's going to be a few that rise to the top,
Right.
and the rest,
Yeah.
aren't going to be that
Yeah.
great. So.
No, I think, see, that's like one of the most comprehensive ways I've actually heard it. Like
Okay.
No, you're totally right. But in regards to artists, I do think that there is a massive opportunity there. I think we're still trying to figure out how to best utilize it.
Sure.
And I do think that when live comes back, that's when it would, at least for my clients, I think it would greatly benefit, because right now some of them are still developing, and so to get the most bang out of the NFT buck.
Yeah, because you could be early to it. That's
Right.
that's what the cool thing
Right.
is, like, because a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people.
Right.
So if you do take time and you do figure it out, there is maybe a chance there that
Yeah.
you're giving yourself to, maybe even if you are small, maybe you'll
Right.
get some traction because it's not like flooded. It's
Right.
not a flooded market, which eventually we all
Exactly.
know it will become.
Yes.
Okay. So let's just run it back to getting back to what we were talking about earlier. Is your transition, like, now you have a talent management company?
Yes.
But how did you get from going to this
Yes.
music program at
Yes.
USC to there?
So when I was a senior in undergrad, they'd announced the master's program that they were launching, inaugural. I'd never done this before. So I applied, I got in, and they had a music supervision track. So
Okay.
that was what I was in. However, the incredible part about the program is you have to take classes in all other areas that they were offering. So
Okay.
live, artist management, and performance was specific to people who were there for performance reasons.
Okay.
But so I got to take incredible classes with Kevin Lyman, who created the Vans Warped Tour, and
Wow.
Trudy Green, who managed Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, the Rolling
Jeez.
Stones, Aerosmith, like you name it.
That's
I
the
mean,
beauty of USC too, right?
Yes.
The teachers there just
Oh,
at
I
a
mean,
pretty high level for entertainment.
yes.
Maybe then, and maybe, I don't know.
The
UCLA
network is honestly priceless. It's really incredible. So, I mean, you know, being part of this program and
Yeah.
still having it be a small program, we got very individualized attention from these major music industry icons. So that was pretty incredible. But yeah, it was during the program that I was actually offered a job to run a music manager who's very well established in the business to run their company as a day-to-day manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it initially started as an internship.
Did you have management experience?
No,
Or
no,
how
I
did
mean,
you train?
yeah,
That's
so-
a pretty big jump.
Yeah, it was,
Family friend?
you know,
I mean,
let's just say USC connections helped
Okay.
me, you know, get to
Okay.
the right person.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and you know, they said, you know, I think you're a born manager, and I would love for you to come work for me.
Oh,
So
very nice.
I said,
That's good
okay,
complimenting word.
right, yeah. And so it started as an internship and then quickly escalated into, you know, they trusted me and brought me on, and I was the only person in the company. So I literally ran all of it.
So when you came on, did you come on knowing that you were going to be in management, or you just came on as an intern?
I came on
with
as an intern,
Okay.
but this person in particular was very much grooming me
I see.
to kind of be the next them.
Oh, okay.
Which, you know, especially given that, you know, they were also female, for me, it's kind of like, whoa, like that, seeing an iconic
Sure.
female manager who has, you know, a huge presence in the industry and being able to go and learn from
Okay.
her a one-on-one. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
23-year-olds, I was 23 at the time. 23-year-olds do not get that opportunity.
Yeah.
That's that. It's
like
rare.
Very, very rare.
So it was a no-brainer for me. You know, I said, whatever you need me to do, I'll learn it. And so I did. And I was still getting my master's, so
Okay.
still.
Oh, wow.
still,
That's a lot of
yeah.
work then, right?
Yeah, no, to say I was working 24/7 is pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got a couple hours of sleep in there, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just absorbed everything super, super fast. And
Were they kind of helping each other though? Because like your school, like you were learning and then like, and also learning at work, or,
yes
you know,
and no. I mean,
or was it, like, would you recommend that for other people? Or would you say, hey, wait until you're done and then
you know,
focus
I
on
think
whole?
it depends.
Yeah.
I truly think it depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah,
I think you have to be type A to be in management.
Mm-hmm.
You have to manage other people. You have to be willing to, if they come to you with a question, you have to have the answer prepared and then know the answers of like 5 additional questions that they
Sure.
could potentially ask.
Yeah.
Like you need to be so on top of it, and you know, that's how it's
And
run.
it seemed like they sensed that in you early on. So has
Yes,
that always been?
yeah,
You've always
I
been
would-
that kind of person.
I'd say I'm pretty
You're
type
the manager
A.
of your friends
yes.
as well?
Yes, I'm the mom of the group.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
What's your style though? Like, what's your management style? Like, are you like the
You know,
tough love? Are you the like kind
Yeah,
of encourage? Like,
I'm both. I think I'm
Oh, you're both.
I've seen the tough love side, and I think sometimes it's at a point where it's too much.
Sure.
To a point where I wouldn't even feel comfortable coming to you asking for advice, and then that.
have you made anybody cry?
Have I made anybody cry? No, I have cried.
Oh, that's
but
good.
yeah, no, I don't think I've made anybody cry. I hope I haven't made anybody cry. Yeah, no, I mean, see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't, and that's also kind of part of why I'm finding my purpose in the industry is I want to be able to make an impact and help someone
Sure.
share their message that will make a positive impact on popular culture in the world. And
Okay.
you know, I don't think that there needs to be this negative stigma in the industry of like, if you aren't making people cry, you're not doing a good job.
Yeah.
Or if you're not throwing staplers.
No, I don't think you
know-
should be.
Right.
Like,
but
yeah.
but I mean, unfortunately,
It's just a lot of
that's-
people in that, like, you know, I've been around the industry for a while and I've seen, you know, a lot of like the
Yeah.
CEOs
Yeah.
and at very high levels
Yes.
of, you know, $100 million companies.
Right.
And, you know, it just happens to be that a lot of those people
Yeah.
are assholes to
Yes, they
their
are.
staff, which is sad. And that's it's not across the board, but
Yeah.
it is kind of a little bit of a stigma. Like there is.
Right, and I don't. I mean, it's one thing if someone messes up and you're
Sure.
like, I've told you 8 times.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
what aren't you getting?
Yeah.
There's something like that, but then there's, there are times where it is just so unnecessary.
Yeah.
No one needs to be yelling. No one needs to be doing, again, assuming this is just a normal day, nothing has blown up, no one's died. But that's the other thing is this industry, no, it's not like, it literally is not life or death. People are out there saving lives. We're making fun stuff for people to digest. We're not, this is not heart
curing
surgery.
cancer,
And that's also something you kind of got to keep in mind for perspective. And I think it helps me on a day-to-day remember that, put less pressure on myself, because I think sometimes I put so much pressure on myself that it kind of becomes counterproductive and I start to get anxious and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like so overwhelmed and stressed.
Pressure just to get everything done, or pressure to hit a certain bar?
All of it,
or
all of
the
it,
whole
just
thing?
all of it.
Oh, okay,
and, I do have to tell myself, no one is dying. You are doing the absolute
Yeah.
best you can. You are a hard worker. Just get the work done and it will be done.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good
Yeah, I mean, it is very much putting things in perspective. And I do think that was one of the benefits of working for that major music manager is that, she came from a very different era and had to work in crazy situations that were very male dominated and had to be a tiger. She had to become a very, very tough person
to make it.
To make it,
Yeah.
which that's the problem.
Which makes sense, yeah.
Right. And some of that behavior, I think, was presented to me. And, and I always thought that wasn't necessary.
Sure.
When I have my own management company, I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
So anyway, long story.
But you get why that she would be that way because
I
of the
understand
way. Yeah,
why.
I would understand why
Right,
too. Doesn't
but
necessarily
again,
make it right, but yeah.
No, and again, it goes
Yeah.
back to a cultural thing and a
Exactly.
society thing. And that's why I'm like, well, why don't we just change that? Why can't this generation just change that?
Yeah.
No one likes to work in that kind of environment.
Yeah,
So why don't we
especially,
just make it
nowadays.
better? Yeah, so, some people might think, oh, that's just because you don't want to work hard enough. I'm like, that is absolutely not it. It's that I want to work really hard, but also make this an enjoyable experience. Because
Yeah.
life is short. Why?
Yeah.
Do something you enjoy doing and, don't feel anxious about going to work about. But yeah, so anyway, I did a bunch of stuff for her and her clients. And then after about 8 months, I decided that it wasn't the healthiest environment for me. So I needed to leave and branch off into my own thing. And hence the creation
So
of
that's when that
Relmore.
started.
Yes. So
And how do you say it?
Relmore.
Relmore.
Yeah, so the story behind it is, well, there are a couple stories, but R-E-L, like my name, R-E-L, and then M for management. And so it's realm, like the world.
Okay. Oh, wow,
Now-
there's a lot into it.
Yes, that's my
I'm
LLC.
a big naming person too, so
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. But that's my LLC, and I wanted to make that my company name, but someone had taken it for trademark. Yeah, so I couldn't do it, so I created Relmore. So just
I see. Yeah.
more of
So wait, you couldn't. It was RELM was taken.
yes, as a trademark company name, it was
Really?
taken. Yeah, so I couldn't use it.
That's too
so,
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So I created Relmore Entertainment, and I'm so lucky and blessed. I have 5 incredible clients, and I'm very much open to talent in all sorts of spaces, which is why I like to say I'm music and talent management.
Okay.
The digital
Yeah,
space.
that's what I was gonna say. You're so you are all like, are you managing all people in the music industry right now? But you want to do more.
So managing, big YouTubers or TikTok creators, Instagram, etc.
Okay, very cool.
And so if there's someone that I'm really passionate about from that space that I think is doing good with the space,
then you would.
Yeah, of course,
Got it.
and work on brand deals for them and building out a brand. I think that's really cool. But yeah, my passion and my, purpose is I'm music.
Is in the music.
Yeah. So right now my clients are music. I got an incredible roster. I'm very lucky.
So how did you get that? How long have you had the company?
So it's been a little over a year and a half. It's been a year and a half.
So kind of, kind of similar to me,
Yeah.
but kind of around the pandemic, like that's
Yeah.
kind of when.
No, it's when I decided, I'm gonna do this.
Okay.
I actually thought that the pandemic was going to give me a benefit because it would allow me time to work on the nitty gritty. Yeah, exactly. And just work out the kinks, solidify my roster, etc. so that when live music comes back, we're all ready to go. And that is exactly what's happening.
That's great.
Yeah. One of my clients has, he's in a festival next month called High Grounds Music Festival in Colorado. Very excited.
Okay. Are you going?
Of course I'm going.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yeah. Very exciting. So, and mind you, he blew up, during the pandemic. So everything,
great.
This is all.
Partially to you?
Well, he's very talented himself.
Okay.
But I do think we're a really, really great team and have worked to just further build out his catalog and his image, his brand, and he has a sound that's very unique. He's in the EDM chill wave space.
What's his name?
He goes by Shy Guy.
Shy Guy,
So
okay.
SHYGHY. Yeah, no, he's amazing.
I haven't listened to his stuff though yet. But
please do.
I'll check it out for sure. Yeah.
It's something where.
And he's in the EDM space.
It's EDM, but it's digestible EDM, so it's like chill wave.
Chill wave.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not like oh my god, pounding my
it's
head
not,
like wah, wah, wah.
Not
but it's
dubstep kind of.
No. It's,
not that I do listen to a little bit.
No, dubstep's it's great, but that's just not what he does.
Yeah.
It's
nice
it's different.
It's nice, exactly, because EDM is can get so generic and so boring these days that it's nice when there's something kind of fresh out there.
I think hyperpop is super awesome. I think doing remixes of pop songs are awesome with the EDM space. But what he's doing it's amazing. It's it is EDM, but he's really big on bringing in synth and synthesizers back into mainstream sound.
I was gonna say that it's kind of almost almost like a retro wave kind of.
Yes, a little bit.
Because I used to listen to a little bit of that, and that stuff was good.
No, it's amazing, and he has these beautiful singers on it, and it really.
So there's vocals
amazing.
on all the tracks as well.
Not on all of them. Some of them are instrumental.
Okay.
Yeah, but on a good, I would say half are vocals. Yeah, so we're just.
That's exciting.
Constantly grinding, yeah. It's amazing, and always looking for new labels to work with. He's worked with Dimitri Vegas and Mike, so of Tomorrowland Festival and Smash the House. Yeah, so he was signed non-exclusively to their sub-label called Smash Deep for rising EDM artists, and that's been amazing and huge for us. So
very cool.
Yeah. So
I wanted to ask you though, how did you go about getting your roster?
Yeah.
Without giving, I don't want to give away your secrets or anything.
No, there's no. There aren't
curious.
secrets. So this is great for anybody. I mean,
I'm just kind of curious, how you went about selecting, because you're I wanted to kind of handcraft my
So my first client, her name's Lauren Dare, and she wrote a song with Linkin Park.
Oh, really? One of my favorite rock bands of all time.
Well, there you go. Yeah, in honor of Chester Bennington's. She won a competition, but then he killed himself the day they were supposed to go record, or the day after they were supposed to go record. So it got pushed off for a year, and then she hit up Mike Shinoda saying look, I'd still really love to write this. Can we go into the studio? They said absolutely. So they did and released it. And but she was also young Jess on New Girl, if you watch that show.
I'm familiar with the show, but I'm not sure who the young.
So
she looks like.
Jess.
Yeah.
So there are some flashback scenes.
As young Jess.
Yeah, and so she's young Jess. Yeah, so she's.
Was that a regular thing in the show that she was flashback? Was she
at least in the first couple seasons. I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean definitely the first season.
Yeah, so let's jump back to so during you started your talent management company. Mm-hmm. How did you go about finding your roster, and were you handpicking? Were you how were you going through that?
I mean some of it is cold outreach, and some of it is by referral. So I was, Lauren Dare was my first client. So she'd written a song with Linkin Park in honor of Chester Bennington. She was also young Jess on New Girl, and so she's had, background in the industry for a long time. But I actually met her at USC. Oh. So we just bonded in.
She was a student when you were a student.
Mm-hmm.
In the
master's program.
The master's program.
Yeah, and we just clicked, and what initially started kind of as a student project actually ended up turning into let's actually do this. So when I launched my management company, I said, okay, we're doing this. here's the contract, you know, she's like,
amazing.
great. Yeah, so she's awesome. And then I have an EDM chill wave client, Shy Guy, who has been absolutely phenomenal to work with. And
how did you find him?
Okay, so my neighbor, when I was living at home, my neighbor, he is actually...
And when you say home, Los Angeles home?
Yes, Los Angeles home.
Okay.
Like,
did you grow up here?
I did.
Oh,
born
really?
And raised. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Oh.
It's very rare for me to meet somebody...
You know, everyone says that, and I'm like, I feel like all I do is run into LA people.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel it's hard to find somebody who's like...
born and raised, went to USC. I very much love Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, very cool.
I do want to retire in the Pacific Northwest, though. That sounds really beautiful. Yeah, but
any specific part?
like Seattle, Oregon.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I've been to both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to be in the woods, away from.
You don't think it's? I think for me, it's the. I get that. Like, so you're more country than you are city. Yeah. But the gloom, I just don't. Right. But some people maybe you must like that, right? You must like the gray sky.
Well, I haven't lived in gray sky.
Okay.
So everyone is like, I don't know if you would like it. I don't know if you'd want to.
Have you been to Oregon?
Yeah.
And Seattle, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's like a part-time home thing.
Yeah. You can give it a shot.
Yeah. We'll see. But So home. My mom's neighbor is a director, and he is actually very close with Dimitri Vegas, and that's how he kind of built that relationship there. And his nephew is Shy Guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it ended up working out. He was like, listen to my nephew's stuff, and then I said, well, I'm a manager, so if he's looking for management, let's do this. And he and I hit it off. So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you just what do you have? So set up a meeting, and then you guys had a meeting?
Yeah, no, I always like to have meetings first and foremost. One of the biggest things I have with who I sign is they can't have an ego. I mean, as an artist, there's always going to be a little bit. You're creative, and there are personality traits that come with it. But no ego. You have to understand that there are going to be times when I don't want to say a me day, but I need to not respond to you within the first 3 seconds.
Sure.
I just might
Is that how a lot of them expect? They expect
sometimes.
If they text you they want an answer in a minute?
Sometimes. There are people like that. I think
I would be horrible at that job then because I'm not the best.
Yeah, I think again a lot of that mindset was instilled in me from working for the manager I did, and seeing that she instilled in me that everything is urgent. And when I got away from that and realized, oh no, not everything is urgent. Yeah. But that was what she was trained. But working with major talent, I understand why. I am trying to set a precedent where you have to understand that I also am a human and have need a work-life balance as well. I will answer you at any point, any time of the day. If you call me at 2 a.m., I will answer. But just also know that there might be times where if it's not urgent, I'm going to call you back. Yeah. Not at 2 a.m. Yeah. So it just depends, but you got to do what the job requires, and I signed up for this, and I'm ready to do it full on. So
what are other things? No ego.
Yeah, no ego.
A little bit of understanding that you have a life.
Yeah, and I mean also just you need to have a drive and understanding and dedication. I mean,
and not just rely on you.
Right,
to take
and not just rely on I'm talented, it's going to happen. You have to work for this.
Absolutely.
So I think everyone that I work with is pretty much in that mindset. Everyone needs a little pushing and reminders, which is fine. That's why I'm here. But I do think that overall, you have to have that. You have to want it.
Sure.
I need to know if I'm putting in my time for you. I need to know you want it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So those are, and obviously the talent. But that's I wouldn't even have a conversation if it wasn't there.
Sure.
Honestly.
So you have 5 on your roster now.
Yeah. So the other one is Lorraine Chia, and she's absolutely incredible. I mean, her voice is. There's no one else that sounds like her.
Really?
Yeah, no, she's a Cameroonian, late 20s beautiful singer. And
So if we go to your website, we can kind of check
you'll,
out all the
you'll
artists?
see everyone,
okay.
yeah.
And listen to them? And,
Yeah. There are
okay,
links
cool.
to everything.
So we'll put a link in the description for everything.
Yeah, so there's Lorraine Caroline Sky, who you may have seen on The Voice or American Idol in the past. Truly phenomenal voice as well. And then my last client is he's an entrepreneur and a musician and a hip hop rapper. He created a toy called Good Luck Yogi, which is a meditation device for kids. So that's something we were really pushing during the pandemic. Yeah.
Okay.
So and now we're kind of pivoting, but he's also starting to gather his music that he wants to release. And
so how I guess where are you at now? Like, are you like, is 5, like, is that a lot? Like, I don't know. Or is it like, okay, no, we're just getting started. We're going to add like 20 more by the end of the year? Or like, how does that process look like?
Something that I've realized, at least in my experience, is per person, I truly believe 5 should be the absolute cap.
Really?
Yes, because you need to put your heart and soul into every single person that you are working with. And if you're not doing them justice. You're just not serving them well. Like,
gotcha.
And also, it very much depends. Like, if your clients are developing, that takes a lot of time. A lot of time. If you have 5 major artists, that also takes a lot of time, but in a completely different way.
Yeah, sure.
And so, you can't spread yourself too thin. It's not fun for you. It doesn't make you look good. You can't do the work well.
So if you were to bring on more artists, you'd have to bring on somebody else under you, basically, to...
Yeah, exactly. And so, right now as I'm building out and developing further, right now, my cap for music clients, I'm very happy where I am.
Okay.
I do make exceptions here and there. If I think someone is so exceptionally talented, then I'm like, I actually can't not sign them.
Okay.
But again, that, it has to be someone that I like really resonate with. And Lorraine was that for me.
Oh, okay.
Because my roster was
How
pretty
did you discover
full.
her?
She was recommended through a colleague, and it all happened from there. Yeah, so she's amazing.
What do you think about like going to like these like the festivals, but like rather than going to see like Beyonce, but going to all the smaller people?
Yeah.
Like, is that something that's maybe good for?
Yeah. No, they're the next. Right? They're the next thing. I mean, I think that once a client is...
Or are they already even too established for you?
Right, I was going to say, I think that once someone is already able to get themselves to a festival, they probably already have some sort of representation.
Okay.
But, I think it's always still good to keep your eye out, because you never know when they might be looking for new representation, or when they might want a new, they might just like want to start a new venture altogether, like with a band or a new artist name. You don't know. So, but I think the ones on the smaller stages are going to be the big ones in 5 years. So, yeah.
Do you have you've kind of been through a lot. You've USC and your career's kind of taken all different paths to where you are now. Like, do you have a favorite moment, or maybe like almost like a breakthrough moment for you?
I don't. I have a bunch of moments that I'm like really proud of, or where I've said like, yeah, this is it. And sometimes it's actually stuff that I don't work on, where I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to be in. Okay. I come from the chaos of the industry, but then I could go to a live show of a artist I'm not working for, and I'm just so impressed by their performance, and I'm like, this is why I'm in.
So who is that? Who is the last?
Okay, so I think the last major thing I went to before the pandemic, I saw Blink-182 and Lil Wayne together.
Oh, nice.
At the Forum.
I would have loved to see that.
Oh my gosh. There's something about the energy that they have, and then Travis Barker, when he goes on his drumming solos, I mean, it's like game over.
Yeah, I had a friend who came on actually the podcast, and he toured with Blink-182.
No way.
Yeah, multiple times.
Okay, awesome.
I don't know if you heard New Beat Fund. If you've heard of the band New Beat Fund.
New Beat Fund, no.
Yeah, so check them out.
Did they open for the band?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they did.
That's
yeah,
sick.
yeah. So,
amazing. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they played I think in Europe together a couple times.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's...
Yeah, well, it's...
I can imagine that forum, at the forum.
Yeah, you know, and it's just the energy there. And then even before that, when I saw Machine Gun Kelly and Fall Out Boy.
Oh, cool, yeah.
I think it was at the Honda Center.
Yeah, that's
oh
a
my
great
God.
great
It's
show.
just, there's just so much. You're just like, this is why. This is
Yeah.
why. This, I don't know what it is, but there's this magic that happens, and you're like, this is it.
Where would you say then, I guess, like where would you say if you were to look into the future in 10 years, where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing?
I mean, you know, I see myself doing what I'm doing now, just on a much larger scale, and I would love to see that my roster is still with me and 10 times as big. You know,
Wow.
that's what I would love. I just want to continue growing and doing positive, making a positive impact on the industry and, you know, popular culture. I think the other thing that I'm really passionate about that I would love to take part in is, like Kevin Lyman did when he was my professor, he's always very involved with social projects and philanthropy, and I would love to have some type of organization that I've developed at that point to...
Like a nonprofit?
Yeah, to give back and do what I can. I'm personally very passionate about the homeless situation in
LA or just in general?
I mean, in general,
Yeah.
I think it's messed up that anybody is homeless.
Sure.
But obviously in LA, it's
complex
Yeah.
situation, especially here.
Yeah.
Very
So I
complex,
think,
yeah.
you know, doing something in that realm, mental health is extremely important to me. Social justice initiatives for, you know, equality across the board. Yeah, I just want to be able to get more involved in those and have my clients more involved in those and do, you know, passion projects.
Okay. Do you stay like very involved in like studying and learning about?
Yeah,
like, is that just like
you
a
have
thing
to be educated and up to date. Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, I'm by no means...
Because it's tough because we get busy. Like,
Of
you know,
course.
that's a problem.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, but I think that you should never be too busy to educate yourself on what's going on in the world.
Sure.
I think that, you know, there is this level of we can't be our best selves if, you know, we're not opening our eyes to everything. And I mean, look, you can't learn about every single thing, but, you know, you can learn about the things that are relevant to you and
Yeah. Or
important
speak
to
to you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like certain things probably speak to you.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. And so, you know, you do the best you can, but I do think educating yourself is extremely important, and everyone has the internet now, so there's really no excuse.
Yeah, very true.
There's no excuse, yeah.
Well, how about, you know, you've done a lot, you've accomplished a lot already. If you were to go back, say 10 years and tell your younger self advice, whether it's like life or profession, like what would you tell
you know,
Arielle?
I just keep going. I truly think just keep going at what you want to be doing, because for whatever reason it worked and I got here. You know, maybe if I hadn't done musical theater, I wouldn't be where I am. Or maybe if I, you know, wasn't also a soccer player and developed that intense, you know.
Oh, you're a soccer player?
Oh, I am a soccer player. Yes, very.
Do you still play?
I do.
Really?
I have a game tonight, actually.
Oh, really? It's like
an adult. I'm in adult leagues now, but I played club at USC and grew up playing varsity and all-stars and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so I love it. But it's like maybe that was what kept me sane and allowed me to keep
going.
Yeah, like, so just keep doing what feels right to you, because you're meant for something. You're meant for something. I wouldn't tell myself not to do something, because for whatever reason it got me to where I am now, and I'm happy with where I am now. So
what would you say, that kind of leads me to another question, is like, you know, a lot of people now, you know, and I kind of go back and forth, is like, you know, the school system, you know, a lot of people say it's overrated now, because you have the internet, you have all these like, you know, classes that you can just sign up for and programs online. You know, I guess I would ask you, not like what do you think's better, but like, do you think you could be where you are now if you had not gone to, say, school? Do you think there's like, say somebody is thinking about, should I go to USC or should I start my business now and jump into being a talent manager?
Look, I don't think you need a degree to be in what I'm in. But I do think that me having been in school is absolutely a major contributor to where I am today and what I'm doing. There are people skills that you will not learn staring at a screen. That's just the reality. There are experiences that you will not experience staring at a screen. There are so many in-person interactions that you have to have as a developing person that you just, like, that's what you need in the real world. And yeah, in terms of a degree on how to learn artist management,
the technical side of things.
like, no, you honestly, even with the degree, half the time I'm still like, what the hell am I doing? But you learn as you go, you know? And so with the professional stuff, no, like, you don't even need a degree for that. I do think it definitely helps, but I don't think you need it to be able to, you know, be in it like you would as a lawyer or a doctor.
Sure.
But for all the other aspects and for all the socialization, no, you need to be in person. That's, you know, that's definitely my 2 cents.
Okay.
I think it's helped me tremendously. Yeah.
Very good.
Learn to deal with a lot of different people.
I go back and forth because I think it all, but yeah, I think it also depends like what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah, and I mean if there are other ways that, you know, like for example, if you are currently in the workforce and, you know, you want to do an online program, that's something totally different. You're still interacting with people. You know, as I just think that the human interaction element and however you can get it needs to
happen.
be there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff.
Thank you.
Arielle, thank you for
Thank you
coming
so
on the
much.
show today. It's been great to hear and listen to your journey here.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Elevated Look Show. Make sure to subscribe to get the latest episodes delivered directly to you.